Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Pisces in December 2018. What's going on, Pisces? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you're celebrating, whatever you're not celebrating, no matter your choice, no matter what you're doing, I hope you're having a great time out there. I hope the winter season, or summer season if you're in the southern hemisphere, is treating you well. Hope you're surrounded by people that you love and that people who care about you and all of that good stuff, okay? All right, Pisces, shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. You're going to get your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. Time for that will be in the description box below. Also down there, you will find information on how to go about getting a personal reading with me if you want one. I'm totally into that if you're into that. All right, Pisces, let's go ahead and get your outcome. Hello. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Nope. Oh, that's a little in the way. Hold on. That was too close. There it is. And your overall goes down here. And let's see what we're missing. Okay. And okay. Woo. Let's find out what's going on, huh? Please show me Pisces in December 2018. Please show me where Pisces is in December 2018. Please show me. Right there. Cool. All right, Pisces, you come in, excuse me, as the World card. Well, that's pretty significant. It is a major arcana in the tarot. And the World card is a card that usually talks about endings and moving from one phase or stage into another. Sort of like a passage ceremony, which is, I think I just made that phrasing up, but a passage ceremony or some significant milestone in somebody's life or transition period in someone's life. I'm also called to talk about what the illustration is showing. A recipe, what would you call this? A recipe index? I forget what these are called. They're in my lifetime, like I've seen plenty of these growing up. But, and in my house, it typically shows, or it was typically used to house like recipes, but you could put anything in here. You could put, like this is showing like 3x5 cards with little drawings on them. But but what they want me to talk about is the whole idea of recipes. And so some of you are cooking things. You're getting ready for the holidays, so you are baking your special brownies or your special cookies. You're the one who's in charge of doing the ham or the turkey or whatever you're going to have for Christmas dinner. Others of you are just organizing things. You're cooking things in that way. You're making sure everything has its place, everybody's in position, and we're go, go, go. You're kind of like a stage manager. Some of you might actually be a stage manager. The other aspect is that same sentiment, everything that I just mentioned, but then of course having it anchored in this sort of family dynamic. As you can see with what's shown on those little cards there, you've got a home, you've got a baby tram or a carriage, or what do we call them in America? A stroller. Look at me giving all the international flair first. And then of course you've got the family on top of the world, and this is the World card, and I did mention different ways of calling a stroller, like tram, I think is one that's in the UK, right? So there is this expansiveness behind this, or this worldliness behind it. So it could be you are, like I said, you've got things cooking. You're the one who's like laying out, like maybe you're funny. Maybe you're kind of like that opening scene or that very early scene in Home Alone where the adults in the house are like, okay, everybody get into the shower, you go do this, you pack that, like getting everybody organized as you're about to go traveling around the world or traveling somewhere for your holiday destination. So you could be the person not calling the shots, but like I said, making sure everybody's on schedule, everything is happening when it's supposed to happen, people are arriving on time, no flight delays. I mean, not like you're in control of it, but you're monitoring the situation. And again, going back to sort of the baseline understanding of the world card, it's about moving one thing or one sort of, again, like picking everything up, or picking everything up that has to be considered, and moving it forward, moving it to a different place. Again, like this transition from one chapter to the next, one phase of life to the next, one stage to the next. So there's this transference, there is this transportation aspect. And with you, Pisces, you know, this has been, I think, in some ways a long time coming. You know, you may have prepared for this for a long time. If you're traveling, if you're doing a holiday, Christmas season destination, maybe this is your first Christmas destination plan. You guys have usually, in your family or in your, where, you know, if it's not you, it's friends, maybe. Some of you may be having like a friend's Christmas thing. And whatever it is, you've always sort of done it one particular way. So this might be the first time that you're going somewhere else for Christmas. Or this could be the first time that you're in charge of how the Christmas dinner, how the Christmas gathering amongst your family is going to go. And there's sort of like this passing of the baton from previous generations or from someone else in the family to you. And again, I'm getting like this long time coming. So whatever change is going on, whatever transference is going on, it's something that either you've anticipated or it's been upon you and now it's your time to shine, kind of thing. You know, maybe you're setting up new traditions. Maybe this is your first Christmas as a newly married couple, or maybe this is your first Christmas in the city that you moved in, that you moved to earlier in the summer. Maybe, you know, this is going to be your first Christmas away from home. Maybe some of you are doing study abroad programs or teaching abroad programs, or your job took you abroad and now you have to be away from your family for Christmas. So whatever it is, you've had a hand in it, or you've kind of taken on this responsibility, you've taken on this role, and you're going with it. It feels mostly positive. If life is life. So some of you are actually stressed out about this. Some of you are just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But overall, it feels like an easy transfer, an easy, and I should say relatively easy. Like the world card can be challenging sometimes because you're talking about change, you're talking about altering dynamics and altering basically status quo. And that's not always easy for people to accept. But I think you've done your homework. Like I said, looking at what that box represents, recipes, following steps. You have done your homework, or you're modeling the behavior and the actions of someone else. So some of you, if this is like down to actual recipes, maybe this is the first time that you're cooking for the Christmas dinner, or you're cooking at Hanukkah, or whatever celebration you're having, New Year's maybe. And I've never done this recipe. This is great grandma's, apple pie. And you look at the recipe and the ink is faded because, it was handwritten and all that good stuff. And it's in cursive and maybe you don't know how to read cursive, or you're having a hard time. You're like, does that say eggs or eels? Obviously it says eggs. Who the hell puts eels in pumpkin or in apple pie? But you know what I mean. So there is this idea of following through with or adhering to best laid plans, things that have worked for a while. It's an interesting thing for those of you in that situation, not just with the baking or following recipes, but just this idea of taking what was already established, grandma's or great grandma's recipe, and then putting a new flair on it. So maybe you're trying to make her magical pie gluten friendly for some reason. I don't know. But you're basically taking what is traditional and making a new tradition out of it. Does that make sense? I hope so. And again, it's not going to be the easiest thing. You might be a little stressed about it. You might, be like, oh my God, I don't want to tinker with magic. But, I think you have this ability to do it. Or at least you're willing to face the challenge. Okay? And that's a strong place to start for you, Pisces, Very strong place. Now, what's going on next? So, you might be, okay, two things, and we're going to go which one first. Like a little bit of a mishap. Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of what I just said to me was positive. It felt really affirmed. I felt really confident in that. And then external to it, you've got a lot of complications. You have a lot of other things that are possibly throwing monkey wrenches in your plan. And if it's not, we'll get to it. So I think we're going to go, yeah, we're going to go with him. Thank you. Knight of Swords, right above your starting position. Come on and focus. There you go. Knight of Swords. As you can see, he's like rebel without a cause, or, you know, he's a greaser, like, you know, Danny Zuko type, you know? And the Knight of Swords traditionally is fast. He's very brash. He's very impulsive. He kind of, you know, just rushes into a situation, does what he sets out to do, and then walks out the door, you know, when, you know, without really staying around for the repercussions or the consequences of his actions. Someone who can be very, very, very dismissive, very flighty, very chatty or talkative and obnoxious. And so I feel for the most part, this is going to be an external energy from you. This could be someone who's, like I just said, throwing monkey wrenches in your plan. This could be the Kevin McAllister character who's a little mouthy and for whatever reason gets left behind, you know, in Home Alone. But there is this like intrusive feeling with this card. And like I said, it feels mostly external. It could be another person, or it could just be what I describe as the circumstances, where this could cumulatively be your demands that you're running up into in your family dynamic. This could be demands or the intrusion of your in-laws, things like that. It can be the energy of more than one person or more than one circumstance. It can come across that way. But for sake of clarity, let's say it's a person. So little greaser Danny Zuko, Knight of Swords, is basically a wannabe bad boy or girl. Doesn't have to be male. But this person is like, in the grand scheme of things, quite harmless. Because, I mean, okay, fine. It's one thing to ride a motorcycle. It's one thing to have like girls gawking at you and in love with your bad boy persona. But if you look at the Switchblade, Pisces, focus, there you go. It's actually one of those switchblade comb things. So here he is with his cigarette and his leather jacket, and I'm so bad, but my switchblade is actually a comb for my hair. So this person, in some senses, is pretentious, is very much somebody whose bark is worse than their bite. It doesn't mean that bark doesn't scare people or doesn't intimidate people or doesn't, you know, annoy people. I'm sure if you've seen my videos before, my neighbor has a dog, and that dog barks a lot. And I usually am calm, especially when I'm recording, but sometimes I'm just like, shut up, you know? So that could be what's going on. This person could just be really mouthy, and not like they're saying things to be destructive or they're saying things to be counterproductive to you. It could just be this person is a motor mouth, and it's just going on and on and on and on and on and on. It's just like, you're not helping me, Aunt Susan. You're not helping me, Uncle Ted. Please, please, please keep your comments to yourself. Is kind of what I'm feeling. Like this person, whether they intend it or not, is just like another aspect that you're having to contend with, or another personality that you're having to kind of find some resolve with. And it's just like nonsense, you know, like, let's not go there, Uncle Ted, Aunt Susan. Let's just drop this conversation for now. I'm trying to focus on how to make this pie right. Maybe that's it. Maybe this person is critiquing what you're doing, whether they intend to be mean, whether they intend for you to change what you're doing. They're just like expressing their opinions and their ideas and what they feel. And you're just like, it doesn't matter. I'm not making this for you, or I can't cater all to your needs, I have to consider everybody else in the family. And I know you guys don't understand what gluten is from a scientific standpoint, but you have 3 nieces and nephews who have a gluten allergy, and I'm making a separate gluten-free pie so that they don't get sick, so that they can go ahead and enjoy the dessert with the rest of us. That's why I'm doing this. And they're like going off on a tangent. Well, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as gluten. You're just like, that doesn't help anything. It's 2018. And in 2018, kids have gluten allergies. This is the reality. I'm dealing with it. Please leave the kitchen. You know, that's an analogy. It might not revolve around the kitchen and baking apple pies or anything like that, but the sentiment is the same. You're going about things and you're carrying on your tradition. You're putting a new spin on a tradition, or you're putting a new spin on how things are normally done. This issue of transference. And here's this person on the sideline from the peanut gallery just mouthing off. And it's just like, shut up. Just shut up. Just shut your mouth. Not to say that's what you're going to say or that's what you should say, but it is what I feel. Like, there's a little part of you in your brain as this person's talking, and like, you're smiling, you're nodding, okay, yeah, sure. And in the inside, somebody's like, shut up, 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 you know? So I'm not sure that you're necessarily confronting that person or really confronting the energy, the cumulative energy of wherever that's coming from, but it's there, and it's not necessarily trying to, but it could, in some ways, knock you off your balance a little bit, okay? Now, additional to this, you've got a lot of stress on the outside of the starting position. And I've mentioned that, I feel like there were a couple signs this month where the energy where you are is very isolated, and you've just got a lot of stuff external to you that's kind of like trying to infiltrate and penetrate where you are. Now, additional, energy that could penetrate for you or is potentially there is this Tower. I got this Tower card, which has come up a few times, so don't be daunted. Plenty of other people are dealing with this energy for December. And the Tower, especially in this deck, is kind of weird to me. Like, it looks a lot more positive or a lot more pleasant than, at first glance, than the traditional Tower card, if you're familiar with that one. And the reason I say that is because this woman looks blissful with her little cake top herself, and she looks very like, this is amazing, and oh, this is wonderful. But actually, if you look at that dress, or bottom half, or whatever, what the hell is that? You tell me, Pisces, what the hell that is, because I don't know. It looks disgusting. Like, if someone served that, I wouldn't eat it. Oh, God, no, wait. So now we're talking about, you know, this whole food thing and the recipes and being in the kitchen. Maybe that's what's going on. Like, maybe some of you, I'm not trying to knock your skills, Pisces. I do not knock your skills. But maybe there's a certain disaster or potential just not so goodness going on around some family holiday dinner. Maybe this person, Knight of Swords, doesn't matter, male or female, who it is, sees your gluten-free pie or whatever newfangled recipe you're putting on the table. Instead of doing this to the turkey, I brined it and then I did this, and they're looking at the turkey and they're like, I'm not eating that. So there is some sort of rejection or dissatisfied feeling regarding food for someone out there. Not everybody, obviously, but for someone out there, there's going to be a discrepancy. There's going to be a little bit of a kerfuffle over food that, from someone's perspective, doesn't look appetizing. Like, again, I'm not trying to knock you. I don't know what you're bringing to the dinner. I don't know what you're cooking. It might be fabulous, but to someone else, it's going to possibly look really grotesque. Because every time I see this card, I'm just like, that is just nasty. Who would serve this? That might be what someone says. Who would serve this? And you're sitting there, I made it. And they're like, you made that? Why? You know, there could be like a whole thing over some freaking dish, right? But regardless of it being a food thing, it is this idea of something is being presented as sort of, not presented, but something is happening, something is occurring, something is found out about in some cases, and For one person's perspective or a few people's perspective, it's not a big deal. It's fine. And for other people, it's just like a hot mess. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we dealing with here? This is not at all to plan. This is not up to code. This is not up. No, nope, 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 nope. And so there's sort of this resistance I feel for you, Pisces. And it might not even involve you directly. This could be something going on for you in the peripheral. But someone is saying, this is fine, everything's cool, I like this, or I enjoy that, or this is tasty, and someone else is like, this is garbage, this is not tasty, this is disgusting, this is, so there's like, not an at war type of feeling, but there is just a huge difference of opinion, a huge difference of perspective, and that could be, again, this is an energy. Again, a cumulative energy between two people or more that is working to disrupt your flow here in the world card. Like, you're very strong in that starting position. Like, they really, I wish you could see or feel what I'm talking about. It's like, it's all drawing here. As much as like it's anchored here, all of this stuff then is pouring into this. And there's this like sort of, I wish I could describe it better, but there's sort of like a dome or a shell kind of over this world card, and all of this other stuff is like raining down on it. It's weird. But anyway, so this could be something even like squabbling like cousins, and that could happen too. You open presents with family, and some people are like, this is great, I love this, this is exactly what I want. Like, somebody else opens their presents and they're like, socks? You gave me socks again? So two things are happening. Some people are having a good time, or some people are like rolling with a situation and finding beauty in it, finding something to be appreciative of, and other people are just like, what is everybody talking about? This Christmas, this holiday is the worst. So, like I said, I feel like squabbling cousins. If you're a parent, this could be your children kind of coming in and you're just trying to make their dreams come true. You're trying to give them all the gifts that they've asked for or asked Santa for. Santa, You're trying to make your children's holiday a beautiful one, and maybe they're a little unappreciative. Maybe they're a little bratty. Maybe they're on the naughty list, but you're like, okay, we're gonna get them. We're gonna get him the new earbuds. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get it. He was bad, but we're gonna get him. And there's sort of like this bite the hand that feeds in the Tower card, which could really offset or not offset, upset, the day that you guys gather as a family. You've put in, and other people have put in all this effort to make a wonderful, beautiful holiday, but then someone might catch an attitude, or, like I said, be ungrateful, and it's just like biting the hand that feeds, spitting in the face of like everybody's efforts. So there could be some negativity coming your way that could destabilize you if you let it. And this is a very different interpretation of the Tower card, because the Tower card is usually, and maybe there's something I'm not connecting with just yet, or maybe there's something I'm not meant to connect with, but the Tower card is usually this insertion and this sudden burst of negativity, or not negativity, but difficulty, trying, arduous, or destructive energy, and it's for the good. Like it helps cultivate this huge change, or it brings about change that was necessary, that people were kind of hemming and hawing about, that people were kind of like, what's the word? What is the word? No, it's not anticipate. Give it to me. They're not going to give it to me. But basically, instead of making decisions and moving things forward in the sake of progress, in the sake of becoming more fair or more balanced, synergistic, right? Thank you. Instead of making those decisions, the Tower card usually comes along and rips everything out, rips out all the bad plumbing, basically, and says, nope, we don't need this. Here's what we're doing going forward. And sometimes that change, that sudden insertion of the Tower card can be painful, can be very disorienting, and all that kind of stuff. And so everything that I said about the unappreciative child or cousins or the critiquing relatives. And if it's not a family thing, if it's a work thing, if it's a thing between you and your spouse or whatever, apply it where it needs to be. But perhaps that difficulty of someone's attitude is going to, in some ways, wake up or lead to a certain upswing, lead to a certain move in positive progression. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, right. So these two are kind of hardcore. Well, if this is this, then what? Okay. So, yeah. Excuse me. So you've got this Two of Wands right below the Tower card. For me, Pisces, this is slightly you, but I think you also share this energy with someone else in particular. Not enough hands, right? Which is ironic because this woman has 4 hands. But as you can see, if you really look at it, these hands, not enough hands, I don't know why they said that, but these hands, right? There's 1 mop, 1 broom. She's basically, how can I describe it? So when you sweep or you mop, right? 1 hand is on the top, 1 hand is towards the bottom, but both of your hands are in conjunction with one another, right? And they work together, right? In one sweeping motion. No pun intended with that. But because she's got these 4 hands, right? How can I describe this? She's not going to be able to swap. Yeah, she's not going to be able to swap either. But she's not going to be able to sweep or swap, because they're across each other, right? Like, I don't have 4 arms, so I don't even know how you would go about doing this, but I just don't think she's able to do what she wants to do because this is sort of a jumbled mess, right? Which one is on top? Wow, you can't even really tell. Hold on. It's just a mess. So too many hands, perhaps. Instead of not enough hands, maybe it's too many hands or too many things to do. So and again, I feel that you are in here with someone else. And maybe the pair of you have your hands tied, or you have a lot on your plate and it's a little bit of a mess. And so I think there's this intention. That's a kind of sad intention because look at her face. She doesn't look super happy. Come on, focus. Focus. You. Sorry. I needed to focus so you can see her. There you go. Oh, you had it and then you lost it. There she is. So you see her face. It's kind of like I'd like to be sweeping and mopping, but I can't. So there's sort of like an element in here for you, Pisces, where I think you, not with everything, but there is a particular task, a particular goal, a particular focus that you want to accomplish, that you want to see happen, that you want to see some results from, some positive results from, but you're not able to. And I feel you share this with another person. So it could be an aspect in a relationship. You want to see progress. You want to see you and your partner happier this holiday season, but you can't. Maybe that's it. If you're abroad, I think I said that earlier with the World card, right? If you're abroad, you want to be with your husband, you want to be with your wife, but you can't. You both want it, but you can't. Circumstances have your hands tied. Circumstances have your finances tied, or whatever is tied up, and just not able to work in a symbiotic way. in a synergistic, thank you, I said that earlier with the Tower card, synergistic way. So there's this lack of synergy in one particular aspect of your life right now in December. One particular aspect, very particular. This is not going to apply to everybody, by the way. This is for a few of you. But there's just something that is just absolutely so crystal clear, not moving forward or backward. It's just distinctively stuck in whatever mode or fashion it is stuck in. So again, your intention is there. I want to go home. I want to be with my family, but I work for some huge multinational company, some huge Fortune 500 company. I work for the government or whatever, and I just cannot go home. My boss won't let me. I have too many responsibilities, or I have too much going on, and it's just I'm not going to be able to be home for the holidays. So it's Christmas on Skype. It's saying Happy Hanukkah, over FaceTime, something like that. So there's this desire that just cannot be met. And I feel that it's because, what did I say? Not enough hands? So maybe that is. Maybe you don't have enough hands. If it's a work thing, maybe you didn't have enough, basically, help, or you weren't able to delegate enough, or things got delegated to you, and you just don't have enough hours in a day to accomplish the work that you're supposed to accomplish so that you can leave your workplace or catch a flight so you can go home. And so now you're not going to spend Christmas with your family, or your husband's not coming home, your wife's not coming home, whatever situation it is. That's sad. And that might be sort of this new tradition, or not even a new tradition, but it might be sort of that new turning of the page energy that you have to face for this Christmas or for this holiday is, well, daddy's not going to be home. It could be military. I'm not sensing that, but if we're talking about things that are abroad and being contractually obligated to stay wherever you are, that could be a military situation. So that could be a semi-new normal. It might not happen every year, and maybe you're a new military family. Maybe you've never been married to someone who's in the military. So this is your first experience of knowing that your husband or your wife won't be home for Christmas, and you're going to have to make the holidays work on your own, right? And again, it would be a new tradition where when you grew up, your parents were together. All your dad had to do was work for Christmas Eve, and then he could be home, and it was presents in the morning, and you guys were, having pancake breakfasts and doing all this cute stuff, and you have a wonderful memory of that from your childhood, and you want that for your children, but you're married to someone who's in the Air Force, or you're married to someone who's in the Navy, whatever it is. Now the new tradition is we might have to do the holidays without daddy. We might have to do the holidays without mommy. That's just the way it is. We hope that he or she is able to make it home for the holidays. We hope, but are they always going to be able to? Maybe not. And that would create a lot of this tension and a lot of this adverse energy around you if you're in a situation like this. It doesn't have to be military, it could be anything. It could be medical stuff, your husband or your wife or you are in the medical field or doing whatever. But it would create this energy of people critiquing, I don't know why you married him, you knew what the military was like, or they're saying, well, you know what the military is like, I don't know why you're crying. There's somebody over here who's being really mouthy and kind of has all these opinions about your life, and then you're trying to make things work, you're trying to make a beautiful gelatin tiered cake. I don't know why you would do that, but maybe that's what you're doing, and someone at the dinner table is like, this is gross, this is disgusting, I want my dad, blah, 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 blah. So there's just this, I want it to work out, I'm trying my best. But then people are critiquing me, or people are not appreciating how difficult the situation is for me. That's why you're doing that. And you're doing this too. So I still feel, I'm going to say this, I still feel this is a very strong energy, this World card. It's a lot to contend with, or rather, it's not a lot to contend with. It's a lot to carry. It is a huge major arcana card. Same as the Tower. It's very huge as well. But I just feel, even though I'm saying things that might be potentially negative, I feel like for the most part, many of you Pisces are not going to be knocked off your perch. You're still going to have a good holiday season. You're still going to come to the family dinner with a smile on your face, even though Uncle Jim or whoever said your apple pie looks like, a dog's dump. Whatever. You're still going to be okay. So I'm saying a lot of things that might give you pause or make you feel like, oh man, my Christmas is going to be garbage, or oh no, I can't wait for 2019. I'm not feeling that. I think you're going to be pretty resolute. I just feel it. And that is why I am an empathic reader. It's just, I feel it. Yes, there's stress, but man, I feel you're able to push through. You're able to persevere through it all, okay? Now, you've got this contention here between these three cards. I feel you're here, here, and here mostly. You're also here, but I feel these are more your solo energies. Okay? Alright, okay? And yeah. So, because your hands are tied, okay, particularly if you're missing a partner, missing a spouse, missing out on a family tradition that has been going on since you were a kid, whatever it is, whatever this missing out, whatever this hands are tied energy is, I think is giving you this feeling of you can't be yourself. Queen of Cups in reverse. I'll show you upright in case you're not familiar with this deck, which is the Housewives Tarot deck, in case you're wondering. And Queen of Cups, I mean, she just look at her in the upright. She's a queen and everything, but man, she's kind of living a life of leisure, having a nice cocktail in the middle of her living room. She looks fabulous. She's got a nice crown on her head. She looks good, and she feels good. Yeah. In the reverse, oh no. So there's like this turned down energy with you, Pisces, where I think maybe you're normally quite bubbly or normally looking forward to the holiday season, looking forward to spending time with your family and your friends. You might be a little apprehensive. That is the word I was looking for earlier. If any of you are in this esoteric spiritual place and you have guides or you have synchronicities and things like that, you're like, give me a sign, tell me, and you ask and you wait, and then you're like, okay, I guess it's not coming, and you move on to the next thing, and then like a day later, hours later, whatever, it comes to you. That's exactly what I was on earlier. I think I was talking about the Tower card, but whatever. I was looking for the word apprehensive. I said, give me the word, and it wasn't coming, and then I moved on. Apprehensive. So go back, rewind, apprehensive. Plug that word into whatever I was talking about earlier. That's what I wanted. Back on track. Let's get back to it. So, I feel that a lot of you are feeling apprehensive. You're feeling a little more tense, a little more stressed, or a little... You were... again, and it could be because some of you are having the baton or the reins passed over to you, whereas up into your like mid to late 20s, you could just sort of come and be a spectator or, a secondary participant in the Christmas holiday or in the holiday tradition, whatever you're doing in your house, whatever you're doing with your family. Now, some of you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or whatever, and now it's time for you to step up to the plate. And this has been coming up as a theme, but then also as a practical reality for many people. Now, I got to put on my big boy pants, my big girl pants, and I got to be the adult who kind of runs the show. So again, I feel for a lot of you, you've just come to the holiday dinner at your parents' house, at your grandparents' house, or wherever, and now you're hosting. So now, whereas normally people look at Pisces during the holiday and Christmas, you're laughing, you're playing the music, you're pouring drinks, you're being really social. Now you're in the kitchen half of the day because you're making sure every dish is getting cooked to perfection. You're making sure the dinner table is set. You're making sure the candles are lit. You're just like on top of everything, which is something you can do. But there's this sort of reduced energy in you, or there is a reduced how can I describe it? You're just not as sunshiny. You might be a little anxious, and if you're more anxious than you are normally you're just not going to be as, hoo hoo hoo. I can't describe it any other time. It's like, hee hee, hoo hoo. Like, I feel that for some of you. It's like, and like I said, when I talked about this card in the upright, where she's relaxed and she's sitting there leisurely, like I said, for some of you, you spent 28 years doing that. Now you're 34. Time to host the dinner, Barbara. What? Like your relatives are looking at you? Yeah, we just thought, would it be easier to host the dinner at your house? And you're like, my house? And then you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have guests. Oh my God, I'm going to have to make sure the spare bedrooms are made up. I'm going to have to pull out the good china or pull out the good dishware. Oh, I think I'm going to have to get a side table. I don't have enough kitchen space. I don't have enough counter space. What am I going to, it's just like this long list of what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to make this work? How am I going to make it feasible? And so you just can't be as upbeat. Thank you. Upbeat as you might normally be because your responsibilities have increased. Okay? Does that make sense? The Queen of Cups also would be parlor games. Who are you? Like, who are you? Not you, Pisces. I'm talking to them. Who are you? Like, there's something about me, and this kind of confirms things I believe about my own life's journey, but there is something where old stuff, old words, old tiny things just resonate with me. Parlor games. Like, I know what that is, but what about the millennial who's watching me? They don't know what parlor games are. Anyway. So Pisces, your energy previous to now could have been more on the social get along aspect of the holiday season. Going over and, pulling, okay guys, it's time for our yearly game of Monopoly, which will last 4 days. Let's do it. You're enthusiastic about getting the family together and being social, being in communion with each other, being this lovely tight-knit group full of love and affection and sharing that with your friends and your family. Now it's like your energy is more reserved, or it can't really exude is not the word. It can't really come out, basically. Radiate. Thank you. It can't radiate. But, man, I still don't think that's enough to knock you off your perch. I think that's more of like a revelation for you, or a point of fact for you, or point of note for you, and point of notation for you. I still feel good about this. This is very strange. Maybe you're having it. Yes! Thank you. Okay, so Pisces, let's have a little sidebar right now. Pisces, I love you guys. I know a few of you guys in my life. And your general nature is, very Dory. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And Dory often, if you know the character Dory from the Finding Nemo movies, right? She gets herself into pickles, right? She gets herself into these really trying and difficult situations, but her disposition never changes. Even when, what's his name, Marlin or whatever? Yeah, Marlin. He kind of injects this negativity. Oh, Dory, what are you doing? And those are the jellyfish and she's just like, I'm going in. It's okay. There's like this sort of naive, just continual swimming. Like, I'm just going to keep going. And people are looking at you. You just walked through a minefield. Are you crazy? And you look at them and like, I did that? Oh, okay, cool. And you just go on to the next thing. That is your general disposition. Others of you, it's Dory, but you're a little bit more self-aware. So it's still Dory. You're still like, well, I'm going to go through this minefield now. And you grit your teeth and you kind of close your eyes and you run through the minefield. Then you make it to the other side, or you make it through the jellyfish on the other side. And you're like, oh, I did it. Okay. And you're just like, so you're either blissfully unaware, and no, pardon my French, but you're blissfully ignorant. And I didn't curse, but, ignorant can be quite an insult in my book. So some of you are like blissfully ignorant of some of the trials and tribulations that you face. Others of you, you're aware, but you persevere and you push through anyway. That's why I keep coming back to this world card and saying, I just feel you'll be okay. Because Pisces, people like to think of you as like hippy, dippy, flighty, sort of like, you know, keeping with the fish theme, sort of like a goldfish, like, or some defenseless animal, like a little, oh, Pisces, you just gotta love a Pisces, and they pat you on your little head, and they kind of condescend to you and all that kind of stuff. But I know, again, because I know a few of you, you're actually some of the strongest people I know. Yo, you guys got insides made of steel. Not to say that you're cold-hearted, but it's like you are just, oh God, I can't think of any other way to say it. You have an ability to carry on, just keep swimming, to just make it work, and to make it look like it was nothing. But for some of you, like I said, those who are a little aware, you know how hard some of the stuff that you faced is. And you're okay, not okay with it, but you smile in the end. It's weird. You're still smiling. You could be like telling people like a story of one of the worst moments in your life, and the way you end the story is, and then I got into yoga after that, and you know, I feel good. I'm like, but wait, what? But you just told me this terrible story about, you're like, yeah, you know, but you know, doing the yoga thing, and I also started to get back into doing pottery. I forgot how much I love pottery. It's like, I can't describe it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say and why I'm trying to say it, because this, oh, let me get back to why I got so excited. The World card, like I said, can often be difficult, transitory, transference, movement from one phase to another, change. A lot of people don't like change. I'll raise my hand. I'm one of those people. And change can be a little difficult. Change can be just daunting and seems like such a headache, seems like such a stress. But here you are. You've got change here. You've got potential stress here with the World card. You've got this terrible Tower card. All of this, you're still smiling. You're still able to carry through. Maybe you're not smiling as brightly with your Queen of Cups in reverse position. Maybe you're not as bubbly or as extroverted or like I said, upbeat as you normally would be. But it's not going to change your character at all. The deep down inside of you, Pisces, is just keep swimming, man. Just keep swimming. Straight through that field of jellyfish. Running through that minefield like it was nothing. I commend you. Pisces, you're amazing. Don't let anybody tell you differently. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. And also, you know, if you want to think about it from an astrological standpoint, 12th house, you are the 12th sign, the ending. So like to be at the end of something, to be the matron or the carrier of endings, the carrier of transfer from the end of something into a new beginning. That's a huge responsibility, to be somebody that ushers in this ultimate change. We go from the end to a new beginning. That's a huge ultimate change. And you guys just like carry it like it's nothing. Commendable. Love you guys. Let me stop praising you and finish up your reading, okay? So right above your turn down, unfortunately turned down in some cases, turned down energy of the Queen of Cups. And again, Cups, water signs, that's you all day long, right? You've got this 10 of Wands right above. And so maybe you're not able to turn up. Haha, see what I did there? Turn down, turn up. You're not able to turn up as much during the holidays or during this time period in December. It's because you have so much going on. Very similar here to this Two of Wands. But again, the Two of Wands, I feel, is for someone out there, a few of you out there, where it's a particular energy shared between you and another person, particularly like someone you share a home with. So your spouse, your roommate, your longtime boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, or maybe you live with your parents, or you live with a brother or sister, whoever. But there's this dynamic here where the Two of Wands, you're tied up with someone else. You both have this shared goal, but it's just not going to work out. This is more all by yourself. All by myself. This 10 of Wands, you are busy, 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 busy. I don't know why I said it like that, but damn it, that's what you're doing. You're so busy. You have a lot of stuff you need to get done. And some of you might be procrastinating. Some of you might be carrying or taking all the responsibility on your shoulders. Whatever you're doing, calm down, relax, and or release some stuff. If it's not a priority, take it off the list. If it's not a priority, and I'm gonna be real with you right now, okay? Like, I like Christmas enough, and I love Christmas enough, and I know I'm spending it with my family, but here's what I did. I knew I was going to be too busy. I knew I just had not enough time. So guess what? None of those presents are getting wrapped. And some of you might be thinking, oh, Jay. And I'm like, that's the reality. How is it wrapped? In an Amazon box. Everybody gave me their list. And I was like, okay, here's your stuff. It's all going in one order. Done. Process the order. Here's all your stuff. It's going in this order. Done. Process. So everybody's getting a box. It's at least in a box. But I just did not have, and I will not have the time enough to wrap these presents. Now, does it mean I'm not going to spend time with my family? No. Does it mean that we're not going to have good times together and share new memories and do all that fun stuff? No. To me, and I'm not saying this is what you should do, but I knew I couldn't make that a priority. It's in the long run. Yes, it would be nice, but in the long run, I value the time spent together, the cooking of the meal together, the, chatting about good times, the going out and spending time out, maybe shopping or going to a movie. Doing all that stuff together as a family is more important to me than people sitting there and tearing paper off of something that they kind of already know what they're getting. That's me. That's all me. But that's an example where maybe there's something on your list that it would be nice. It would be thoughtful. Well, not thoughtful, but it would be nice. Like a cherry on top or like an icing on the cake kind of situation. Is a cake not a cake without icing? No, it's still a cake. So if you can't ice the cake, maybe that's what some of you have to do. I can't ice the cake. Then you put the no, excuse me, you put the no icing cake on the table and people are looking at it like, that looks disgusting. Or what are you talking about? You made Aunt Bertha's secret pound cake, but you didn't ice it? And you're like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't, Uncle Ted. I didn't ice it. So what? So something that would be nice to do, but you don't have the time, even if you don't skip it completely, delegate it. Ask someone to help you. Or ask someone to do something that's a little bit less fun than icing a cake so that you can go ice the cake. Like, don't be afraid to share the load, Pisces. I feel that you're not sharing the load with that 10 of Wands. You got a lot of irons in the fire. You got a lot of pots on the stove. Take a pot off that stove. Let something go. Let something go. Will it alleviate all this other tension going on around you? No. Will it lessen that tension? Yes. It's not a cure-all to let go of one or two things on your to-do list, but it will, in some ways, make you feel slightly less stress, okay? Are you going to do that? I don't know. Pisces are quite sentimental people, and, my whole admittance of not wrapping Christmas presents might be a little shocking to some of you. Sorry. What's your outcome in December 2018? You got the 7 of Swords in reverse. Show you upright so you can see it. I'm going to let you look at this for a second. And remember, your actual outcome is in reverse. But what I'm getting, you see how... I hate to anchor this so much on a family dinner, but there is a lot of that going on in the readings in general. Not just you, Pisces, but look at this woman here holding those 2 swords up there, pointed at that one woman's head. Look how happy she is. Look how she's just like, this is a wonderful Christmas. Ha, 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 ha. And that woman there is none the wiser that these knives are pointed at her head. So there's this, again, in the reverse is how you got this. But in that depiction right there, Pisces, you might want to strangle somebody. You might want to just tell somebody where to go. You're not going to, let me tell you. You're not going to, and I don't think you should. But there is this oh God. Not like you want to murder somebody, literally, but there is this, will you get out of my house before I wring your neck? I can't stand you, Aunt Jane. You are such a bitch. Made that up on the spot. But it doesn't matter. So there's in the upright, there would be this very present contentiousness and You might actually explode. But you've got it in reverse. So there is this avoidance, or there is this acknowledgement of, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to rise to it. Could be towards this Knight of Swords person, you do have a you do have a connection continuity. What are you talking about? You do have a connection, being that this is a Swords card and the Knight of Swords earlier, Mr. or Mrs. Critique, whatever. So there might be this avoidance of taking it there with that particular person. In general, though, okay, thank you. I was like, what are you guys talking about? There's a removal of drama, a toning down of drama. Perhaps with all of this energy going on around you, all of this stress, all of the anxiety, all of the jellyfish minefield BS that's surrounding you, you end up with something that isn't super contentious. Maybe that's the word you guys wanted before, contentious. Like, to me, especially in this deck, in other decks, I wouldn't necessarily read the Seven of Swords this way, but in this deck, it's like, in the upright, this Seven of Swords can be quite contentious, can be sneaky behavior, can be, you know, it could be kind of pettiness, like, you know, maybe those three people, you know, the cousins or the aunties or whatever, they're like talking crap about you, Pisces, as the hostess or the new host of the Christmas dinner. Well, did you taste the mashed potatoes? What was that? Too much butter, not enough this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like this heavy critiquing circle. And you want to like, oh, you just want to go in there and tell them where they can go. But, you know, you're like overhearing this from the other room, or, you know, people are telling you, oh, you know, Auntie Jane was saying such and such about your casserole. And you're like, oh, really? Ha 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 ha. But there is an avoidance of that energy. There is like this, I'm not going to take it there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to come to or I'm not going to go down to that level. I'm not going to, thank you. I'm not going to bring in these new traditions with this world card, all the effort and work I put into this holiday, or all the work and the effort I've put into coordinating this event. If you're not doing anything in the home, maybe you're doing, you know, like I said, a destination holiday, you're not going to let the potential negative energy from other people bring you down to their level. You're just not. And if you are thinking about it, hold off. Just take a step back. Because I really don't think many of you are going to do it. But for those who are like a little bit more impulsive, or maybe, you know, you've had enough of Aunt Jane, every time she gets a glass of Chardonnay, it's a thing, you know. And so I just feel most of you are going to be able to control your impulses, going to be able to let it go, basically. And I like that for you, Pisces. This is not the time, this is not the season, so to speak, for getting involved in arguments and getting involved in disagreements and causing grief, where grief can be avoided. If you can avoid an argument, if you can avoid having people be more agitating and potentially aggressive in a social gathering, do it. What will it serve to have an argument over dinner, or have an argument, you know, in the kitchen after dinner's over, cleaning up dishes? You know, just let it go, okay? Overall energy for December, you've got Justice. Card of Libra, so maybe there's a Libra of significance in your life, but it doesn't have to be. But you've got these two swords cards here. Libra is an air sign, so maybe, but does not have to be. Oh, gosh. So there's like this thing of fair balance, fair structures, fair equanimity, equality that I'm feeling, obviously with the word and the idea of justice, right? But what I'm getting is, maybe that's also what's going on in this like contentious energy. Maybe someone in some ways is jealous or envious of you or resentful of you, Pisces, and they're taking it out. They're lashing out. They're expressing their discontentment towards you, about you, and you kind of not have to grin and bear it, but certainly not engage it is what I'm feeling, because this justice, I'm taking this as like a grand ideal, or from a macroscopic standpoint, where in the long run, someone will realize or someone will see justice done. Okay? I'm not seeing like revenge. I'm not feeling it's like, as soon as we move from December into January, someone's going to get their comeuppance. But there is this idea of, if there is a gripe, if there is contention, if there is a disagreement, justice will eventually be served, or over the course of December, it will slowly build to a point where it's undeniable that justice was done. For some of you, that is going to be like an absolutely legal thing. So you might have a disagreement with someone in a court case or something like that, but that's like for like a very small part of you. But what I'm feeling is like there may be, like I said, this whole transfer of one tradition into a new tradition, moving from old school to sort of new school, and you might be the person who's taking up the mantle in the new school, the new tradition, and you've been critiqued by your great aunts, your cousins, whoever, or you've been, whatever it is. In the long run, it will show that transference, that move from the old to the new was correct. So the new tradition of having mommy or daddy sometimes be away because they're in the military, that seems crazy to some of your relatives, but in the long run, you and your husband, you and your wife are going to make that work for your family, and that will be the new tradition. And the justice will come where whoever was critiquing that situation, critiquing those circumstances, they will see it is fair, it is balanced. That is a dynamic that works for you and your spouse and your children. You can handle it. Maybe they can't handle it, and that's their business, but for you, it works. Does that make sense? Whatever is going on for others, and they don't believe in it, or they don't understand how it works, they don't understand whatever is going on, they are heavily disapproving, or heavily showing concerns or voicing concerns, and you're just like, don't worry about it. It works for us. Me and my husband, me and my wife, me and whoever, this works for us. Gluten-free pie works for us. If you want to have your, Pillsbury gluten to the ceiling type of pie, eat it. That's okay. There are 2 different pies on the table. This works. Okay? All right, Pisces, that is your reading for December 2018. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you found something here that was interesting to you or resonated with you. If so, please leave a comment below. And like I said, if you liked the video, there's also a little thumbs up button down there. Go ahead and click on that. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Like, come on, guys, come on. And also, you can share the video if you feel other people could benefit from the messages that I presented today. And I thank you guys so much for watching up until this point. I will be back very shortly to do your January 2019 readings. Until that time, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.